So it's Thursday, and instead of doing one of our old things like Throwback Thursday, we're going to start a new series called Teach a Kid How to Fish. So Mark, you have taught outdoor ed and all of that for years, right? And so we thought it'd be fun to start a new weekly thing where you are actually showing how to teach people who have no idea how to fish, which could include mostly kids and people like me who haven't picked up a fishing pole since I had my Minnie Mouse fishing pole.
And I think there's several, this is something that could take several episodes, because it's not just what equipment to use, but it's also what techniques and skills to use. So I think that's a great idea. We'll stick around, guys. We'll do our first episode on how to teach a kid how to fish. Welcome back to MFO, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher.
I'm Megan Fuller. So Mark, before we start talking about this, let's remind everyone, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And also like the video. And if you have a different way that you like to teach your kids or something else, please leave it in the comments section. We love the comments. So thank you.
Absolutely. All right, so teaching somebody new how to fish.
Yep.
And I'm gonna skip the whole forward-facing sonar part of it, because I think there's a whole level of being able to get kids moving from video games to forward-facing sonar. That's really not the part that I'm wanting to teach.
Right. I feel like this is a let's bring your kid on a Sunday with you and teach them how to fish.
And I think that use that scenario right there as the beginning. So I'm going to bring my grandson fishing with me on a Sunday.
Right.
The first thing I'm going to do on that Sunday is I am not thinking about that Sunday for me as a, hey, I want to go catch fish. That if I'm taking him and it's one of his first experiences fishing, this is not about fish. This is about him having a good experience. And I'm telling you what, we could get in the boat, he could eat a chocolate frosted donut, have chocolate milk, and put his life jacket on and drive real fast over to the fishing spot. We could get to the fishing spot and I could start casting, and he might make one cast, and all of a sudden he gets distracted by the lily pads and he's reaching over the boat and you know, getting snails off the lily pads. Or maybe we go to the pier and he's checking out the clams or the crayfish underneath the rocks, and he made one cast all day. If he comes back to his parents at the end of the day and says, I had a great time with Grandpa fishing, that's what that's all about. We want to generalize the experience that whatever it was that he did, he was out fishing.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether he caught a big one or he cast or whatever. He's going to go home, and in his mind and the people that he talks to, he went fishing with Grandpa and he had a great time. That's my focus when I take somebody fishing for the first time or in the beginning. I want them to, I had a great time when I was fishing, you know, with Mark.
Mm-hmm.
When they get to a point where they say, well, I'd like to catch a fish like you too, we can work on that. Okay, what size, what pole do they have? Do they have a little Snoopy pole, or do they have a spinning reel, or what are they, you know, what kind of equipment?
Right.
And I can get them the equipment that matches their abilities, and then we can start, depending on what those abilities are, we can start to fish for the fish that they're able to catch. They might not be able to go bass fishing right away.
Right, probably not.
But we can put a hook put a worm on a hook and we can go bluegill fishing. And then all of a sudden there's pictures of them holding up their big fish and things like that.
There's that positive association that is necessary in order for them to keep going.
But it's always important when they get bored, or when fishing is not a sport like basketball where it's dribble, dribble, shoot. Oh, I didn't make it. Go back, play defense. Now I'm going to dribble, dribble, shoot, and now I'm going to... It doesn't have constant... It's a lot of cast, nothing, cast, wait. And so for a new person, there is, remember what we talk about, your uncle used to say this a lot, the tug is the drug, right?
Right, yep.
Well, we have to get a new person who's just getting into fishing. We have to get them to stick with it long enough for them to get that first bite, for the bobber to go down, for the bass to get hooked and jump out of the water, for them to get excited about it. That's what's going to keep them making the next cast and making the next cast. But until then, whatever's fun has got to be what drives it. So if all of a sudden they're not biting and the bobber's not going down and they want to play with the minnows in the bucket, then let's play with the minnows in the bucket. First of all, there's a lot to be learned from that, and there's a lot to be taught, and there's a lot for them to learn about nature and the outdoors and how do you keep minnows alive. Safety things like, why do I wear this life jacket when I'm in the boat, and all of those things that we want them to learn about, because we want them to know as they grow up to become fishermen, hey, I got to wear my life jacket. Hey, we need to keep the minnows, we need to do the minnows this way, or the worms need to be kept out of the sun, or we need to put the lid back on the worms so that they don't crawl out all over the boat, or things like that.
So like building blocks.
Yeah, building block information. And I think all of that stuff, we can do that, and we can make it fun, and we can make it so that the student wants to come out, the new person, whoever that is, wants to come out and do it again. And we keep doing that until the drug takes over. And the drug is the tug, right? The tug is the drug. And once that happens, we don't have to ask very many times anymore. Hey, you want to go? Yeah, I want to go. I want that. I want to catch a fish like I did the last time.
I remember you one time caught a fish and you just had me reel it in. And even that was like, oh, okay, I can do it. I'm excited. Like, it's exciting.
And that kind of thing, like catching a fish and then handing the rod off, that's a great thing to do. And it does lead to, now I'd like to get to the next part where I can get that fish to bite. And so those are all great things. We got a lot more stuff to talk about when it comes to this. And certain equipment to use and certain techniques to use and things like that. So that's why this is going to be kind of a series that we do on Thursdays for a while, about teaching a kid or teaching someone new how to fish.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We hope this is important. We'd love to hear your comments. So, please hit that subscribe button, the like button, and send us your comments. We'll see you again tomorrow for another episode. Mark Fisher Outdoors. Take care, everybody.
Stay channeled.